This is our Disney News Hour, and many thanks for joining us. With the news, I'm Shifaralako. Do stay with us. Overcoming a turbulent period is a mark of national resilience. While we are being tested on many fronts, our collective will to realize the path we have embarked upon has strengthened us. That's what Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said today. Despite all attempting to hold us back, let's continue moving forward in unity, he has said. The Premier also tweeted yesterday that Ethiopians stand committed to laying a solid foundation for generations to come. His message comes amidst continued international pressures. Ethiopia, our beauty, is in our unity. When we stand together, we can overcome anything, he has advised. Now, hundreds of thousands of Addis Ababa residents took to the streets yesterday to denounce atrocities committed by the TPLF. The demonstrators also strongly condemned Western media outlets, mainly CNN, BBC, Reuters, Al Jazeera, and some others for their fabricated news stories against Ethiopia. Some of their placards read, CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, stop fake news, stop meddling in Ethiopia's internal affairs. They also expressed their support to the Ethiopian National Defense Forces and other security forces. Addressing the gathering, Mayor of the city, Adanej Abebe, said Ethiopians are not ready to bow to external pressures which deprive them of their freedom, dignity, and sovereignty. The mayor condemned the continued intimidation of Western governments and biased reports of their media outlets.
BBC, Al Jazeera, BBC, Al Jazeera, CNN, stop lying about Ethiopia.
Moving on, representatives of political parties' joint council expresses determination to defend the sovereignty and unity of Ethiopia. This urgent call came yesterday at the Mascal Square, where residents of Addis Ababa from all walks of life turned out to show the whole world that they are against aggressions of the TPLF cohort bent on dismantling Ethiopia. Daniel Kasaun presents the story as follows.
The representative of political parties joint council, Mulgeta Abebe, appeared vocal at the Addis Ababa Mascal Square that the council, which incorporates major contesting political parties, is standing by the people of Ethiopia to defend the unity of the nation. So far, the council made calls to friends of Ethiopia and the international community to stand with Ethiopia and play a positive role in helping the country overcome the problem. He indicated the current aggressions by the TPLF and Shani groups, which are supported by internal and external enemies of Ethiopia, is remained to be an existential threat which all Ethiopians ought to defend.
The terrorist groups, which are supported by our external and internal enemies, are posing serious threats to our nation and our country. We are at a critical time which demands our sacrifice. We were suffering a lot when the terrorist TPLF group was in power for 27 years. This group was doing all it can to disintegrate the country and to abolish all the fabrics that tightened coexistence of the diverse nations and nationalities of the country, but failed to do so.
In the televised live transmission, Mulgeta advised fellow Ethiopians to pay all it takes in order to defend their rights and dignity of the country.
Now is critical time for all Ethiopians to come together and fight for their sovereignty and unity. We are on the same ship and we need to take for it not to sink. The survival of the ship is critical for all of us, whatever the tide is. We need to forget all our differences and contribute to share for the urgent threat of Ethiopia's existence. The enemy seeks to disrupt coexistence and survival of this nation. We need to be alert on squashing its ill intention.
The representative also indicated Ethiopia is beyond what the entire public has and who they are. He told the gathering that motives and interests are time-bound and so limited, but the existence of Ethiopia transcends beyond all.
Residents of Addis Ababa that took part in the landslide rally denounced the joint destructive move of TPLF and Shene to dismantle Ethiopia. Protesters vow to defend any attempt that endangers the country's sovereignty. Koshu Melisau has compiled their views as follows.
ኢትዮጵያ የጀግኖች አገር ናት።
ህዝቡ በነቂስ ወጥቶ ነው ያው እንደምታዩ የወጣው በኢትዮጵያዊነታችን ድርድር እንደሌለን ያለ መንግስታትም እንዲያየን ነው እዚ በጧት ተነስተን የመጣ ነው። ወደፊትም ነገም ከነጎዲያም አገራችንን ኢትዮጵያን አስከብረናት እንኖራለን። እኛ የአባቶቻችን ልጆች ነን። የአያቴ ቅድሚያቶቻችን በደምና ባጥንታቸው ያቆያትና ያስረከቡን ትውልዶች ነን። ስለዚህ እኛም በተለያየ መንገድ አገራችንን ደግፈን ኢትዮጵያን አትፈርስም። ጁንታው ይቀበራል፣ ኢትዮጵያ ግን አትፈርስም።
የመጀመሪያው ምን ያህል ኢትዮጵያ ህዝብ ለሀገሩ
First, we are witnessing that the Ethiopian people are committed to pay sacrifice and never compromise on the sovereignty of the country. Second, I would like to stress that Western media, ranging from their digital platforms, are disseminating fake news against Ethiopia. Addis Ababa is not under siege. We are doing our daily activities peacefully without panic. We have a legitimate government. Hunts of Ethiopia. We never allow any intervention. America State Department should stop its attempt to dictate our country's politics.
I am from the state of Oromia. The Oromo people and other ethnic groups are being killed by the Shene and the TPLF in Oromia and northern Ethiopia. I strongly believe that the Ethiopian people with its strong army will finish these criminal groups off very soon.
በእግዚአብሔር እርዳታ በመንግስታችን እና በመከላከያ ሰራዊታችን ብርቱ ክንድ ወደ መጨረሻው ይደርስ።
የዛሬው ስሜት በእውነት መግለጥ ያቅተኛል።
I am speechless to express my feeling. As you can see, people are showing solidarity. As member of the National Army, I appreciate the initiative of the youth to ensure the independence of their country. Even though I am disabled, I am ready to join the army and serve my nation.
ዝግጅት አድርጌያለሁ። ራሴን ዝግጁ አድርጌ ነው የምገኘው።
Now, a Washington-based American journalist Bob Schillehuber lashes out at the ongoing fake news being disseminated by the Western media regarding current situations in Ethiopia. Talking to Fana BC, he said the Western media like CNN are fabricating fake news about Ethiopia. Here's what he said.
My name is Bob Schillehuber. I'm from Washington, D.C. I work for Sputnik News. Yeah, I'm in Addis Ababa for the last 4 days. It's a beautiful city with beautiful people, and the reports that most Western media are putting out are not accurate. The Western media, for many reasons, are supporting the TPLF and talking about a security situation in Addis Ababa that's not accurate. Addis Ababa right now is peaceful, with tens of thousands of people coming out to Meskel Square in support of the Ethiopian government, in support of the democratically elected and legitimate government of Ethiopia. And I've had a wonderful stay and met so many wonderful people here while I've been in Addis. I was in Bahar Dar the last 2 days. In Bahar Dar, it's incredibly desperate and extremely bad. There are thousands of people that have fled from Kombolcha, from Desi, from as far as Afar. People have walked hundreds of kilometers, and right now they don't have access to food. And it's because of the TPLF aggression that have pushed people to leave their homes, to flee their homes. While I was in Bahar Dar talking to Amhara people, they told me stories of their houses being looted, of people being kidnapped, people being raped and stolen and taken. And it's quite tragic to hear what the TPLF has done to people of Amhara and Afar the last year. Yeah, it was incredibly peaceful today. It was incredibly uplifting. It was beautiful to see people of Ethiopia united together with the government to support the country and to support one Ethiopia. People of Addis are calling for peace. They're not calling for war. I don't think the people of Addis hate the people of Tigray. I think they want there to be one Ethiopia together. And what we're reading in the Western media is not true. Reading the New York Times, reading the Washington Post, CNN, BBC, Bloomberg, all of them are pushing lies and falsehoods. And I've seen so many reporters report from Nairobi, from Kenya, and they're not here in Addis. If you look around in Addis, it is not true, and it's not the same of what these people are writing when they're not even here in this country. The international community needs to call on the TPLF to put down their weapons, to demobilize, to stop their attack on Amhara, to stop their attack on Afar. And the international community needs to get behind the democratically elected Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and to support the people of Ethiopia and their future.
ሀገራችን እየተበጠበጠ እናት እህት ወንድሞቻችን እየተገደሉ ምናምን አይተናል እና እኛ እሱን ለመቅረፍ ነው የመጣነው ከእናት ሀገሬ ፊት ለፊት ሆኜ ለመዋጋት ሀገሬን ለማስከበር የመጣው ኢትዮጵያ መሆናችን ብቻ በጣም ስለምኮራ ወደዚህ አካባቢ መጣነው ወደ መከላከያ ሰራዊት የተቀላቀልነው ማለት እናት ሀገራችንን ለማዳን ኢትዮጵያዊነት ለኔ ኩራቴ ነው ግርማ ሞገሴ ነው መካበታለሁ በኢትዮጵያ በመሆኔ በጣም ደስ ይለኛል አባታችን ወታደር ቤት 18 አመት አገልግሏል ሻለቃው ነው ከዛ መጥቶ ነው እኛ ያሳደገ እኛ ተወልደን እሱ ወታደር ቤት ያገለገለ ነበር ለእናት አገልግሎት ይሄ ሁሉ ሰራዊት እያለ ደግሞ ሀገራችን አትወድቅም
Welcome back. You're still watching this News Hour. A Pan-African media outlet says Ethiopia has fought colonialism and challenged neo-colonialism. And currently the state is fighting proxy colonialism. The nation's unity is therefore decisive to African unity. Take a listen.
To eradicate poverty, to create perfect democracy, to ensure fair treatment for all citizens. We all have a role to play in this fight to preserve Ethiopian unity. Let's not forget, Ethiopia stood as an historical symbolism of African power. Ethiopia, resiliently onwards.
The Amhara State Chief Yilkal Kafala has discussed humanitarian situation with a delegation led by Dr. Catherine Suzy, the Director of Humanitarian Affairs of the United Nations, to Ethiopia. The state chief on the occasion called upon the international community for a swift humanitarian response as the number of people being displaced by the TPLF clique is increasing by the day. Take a listen.
Support. We have to provide water, we have to provide food, and we have to provide temporary shelter like tent. In this regard, the resources that we have in collaboration with your contribution, we have lost it now. We need to have another one, just to save the life of these people.
Catherine Suzy, Ethiopia's UN resident and humanitarian coordinator, has pledged to provide adequate humanitarian assistance to the affected areas.
Commodities are actually sitting in Dessie and Kombolcha as we speak. We have warehouses full of equipment, but we're trying to see how we can access those in order to bring the food, the assistance to the people where they are at the moment. The Ethiopian Humanitarian Fund, which I mentioned last time I was here, we were able to allocate nearly $7 million to provide and to respond to people affected by the recent conflict here.
World Food Programme Ethiopia Director Stephen War Omamo, on his part, has outlined supply problems, although there is enough food stock.
We have so much food available in the country, so much, more than enough for all the people who need food. There's so much food, but we cannot move it sufficiently. One challenge we're having, just so that we understand why we have not succeeded to reach these siege areas. There are two things. One is the collaboration from the other side. I think that has been clear. There was no willingness there, but things are different. I think we need to have that discussion. The other one is the transporters. They fear positioning their trucks. We have over 70,000 metric tons of food between Dessie and Kombolcha.
Welcome to Blantyre, Malawi's second biggest city, with an estimated population of 1 million inhabitants.
And finally, in sports, Ethiopian athlete Dawit Seyum has set a new women's road 5-kilometer record in a mixed gender race with 14:41 on Saturday, November 6, at the Urban Trail in Lille, France. The 25-year-old Dawit, who specializes in the 1500 meters, shaved 2 seconds from Beatrice Chepkoech's world record of 14:43. World leader in the women's steeplechase Nora Jeruto of Kenya took seconds in 14:43, with African 5,000-meter bronze medalist Maskara Mamo in the third in 14:55. In the men's 5-kilometer race, Barihu Aragawi of Ethiopia, who won this year's Diamond League's 5,000-meter, almost broke Joshua Cheptegei's world record by winning the race with a stunning time of 12:52. Barihu won the race by more than 30 seconds as Hosi Kiplangat of Uganda was second in 13:25, 4 seconds ahead of Ethiopia's Yasin Haji. And now a quick reminder of the top stories. Hundreds of thousands of Addis residents take to the streets strongly denouncing TPLF and foreign media. And with that, we come to the end of today's stories. Many thanks for watching us. Bye-bye.